Namaste nerds, this is Navanad with the second part of the video primer for Urza, Lord High Artificer. I'm just going to run through some hands, take a look at some starting sevens and do kind of some mulligans. So this does not have, what I think we're looking for is obviously acceleration, early interaction, and a combo piece or a tutor. So this has a little bit of acceleration, and we're not loaded to the gills with acceleration, so this is actually tempting. Got a combo piece. I think we've got a couple ways to get some more access to some more cards. We don't have any interaction. I'd probably keep this on a second 7, and depending on the pot I might just keep it full stop, but I think on a first 7 and a random pod we're going to take a second 7. What do we have here? This looks a little bit worse than the first. If this opt was a land, and it may well be, right? I would keep this on a second 7. Now let's risk it. We've got 2 draws plus the opt. We're going to get to look at 4 cards. We just need to hit a land, cast our opt, and it is not a land. So that is unfortunate. Let me get this one. Hey, alright. Go to turn 2. Do we want the Ethereum Sculptor or do we want Arcane Signet? If I knew we were going to hit a land, I would go with the Arcane Signet. I don't know that, so let's go with this guy. Then go to a turn 3. Man, this is not panning out well. But we can play this. We can play this because we got the discount from Ethereum Sculptor going here. And boy, I'm tempted to just crack this and find a land. We don't have any 1 mana interaction to hold up anyway. Let's get this little quasi engine up and really just pray. Really just pray for a top deck land. Next turn, we got a land. Not a bad one. Okay, so here we are on turn 4. This is when some of the most powerful budget decks are starting to actually get revving. So I think we'd have a close call between playing out our commander and holding up interaction. Well, actually we can do both, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 for Urza. Urza, Lord High Artificer, which turns all these into mana and makes a construct. Okay. So if we need to, we can use this as a counter spell. We've got a bounce spell. If somebody has a top deck tutor, we can wreck their tutor. So if somebody tries some kind of kiki-jiki thing, we can wreck that with this. If somebody tries to murder their own Protean Hulk, again we can bounce it to their hand. Niv Mizzet with a Curiosity, or if somebody tries to win with some sort of I don't know, somebody casts a Peer into the Abyss or something, we can counter it with this. I think that's the probably a wise thing to do, would be to play. So we want to have 2 mana up, I would say. So 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. We could do 1, 2. Yeah, okay, let's get a little bit greedy. I don't want to run this out, but let's just say 1, 2. I do want to run that out, but we're not gonna. 1, 2. So we'll run this guy out. What's a reasonably likely thing that our opponents might have? Let's just say it's a Oakham Adversary. Sounds good. Or a Dork. We'll just say it's an Oakham Adversary. there's lots of those running around in the budget sphere. And then we'd have 1, 2 open, 3 open. So we would, we would pass the turn. If we had to use a piece of removal, we would. And if we didn't have to use a piece of removal, we could use this to, we could fish with this. Well, let's say we do decide that we have to use this. And does that mill everybody? Yeah, and then that mills 2 cards for everybody. Alright, and then we're going to go to our next turn. Alright. And I think now, so we've got this one. Oh, that's the 2. That's unfortunate. I thought this was the mage that finds 3 drops. Well, we can set up our ISO Rev combo. I was hoping to be able to use this to find Basalt Monolith, or to find Rings of Brighthearth, and then crack the Moon Silver key that'll tutor for Basalt Monolith, and then maybe we could muddle the mixture up. So here we go. We've got kind of a decision point here, right? We could just run this combo out naked with no protection, or we could hold off. So, well, let's go to combat. We said this is Oakham Adversary, so we'll draw 1 card. It's a land. Then maybe we would go 1, 2 to activate this. Draw a card and discard a card. Draw. Ooh. And let's discard this. Okay. Paradoxical outcome. How good is this for us right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we didn't make our treasure. So I think then we'd want to get some card draw. I think I would hold off. I'd hold this up, and I'd be looking forward to maybe next turn using this as well, we could draw a lot of cards with it. We could do it right now. So 4 mana, and all of these things are going to just cost 1 mana to recast. So we could do tap this for a blue. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we'd have 3 lands. We could run all these back to hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw 5 cards. We could play all these things out. So that, yeah, okay, I think let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to go tap for a blue. Tap for a blue. So that's 2. Tap for a blue is 3. Tap, and this is colorless. And we're going to cast Paradoxical Outcome, which says we can return any number of artifacts to our hand and draw that many cards. So we could target 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we did that. We might want to leave this guy. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe we trade the treasure 5 for a card draw. We draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't remember if we played a land for turn. I feel like we maybe missed 1 drop. So yeah, we probably did play our land. So all of our artifacts cost 1 less. So we can go 1 to cast this, 1 to cast this, 1 for this, and just turn it back to Oakham Adversary. Tap it for this. And got 2 up in case we need to use a counter spell. Yeah, I think we would call it right here, and then we could either activate this at the end of turn, or we could counter spell somebody's thing. Let's say we have to counter spell somebody's thing. We're gonna lose the game if we don't. or somebody's trying to kill our Urza. And then we go to our next turn. So we're going to play this out, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3 for the Trophy Mage. We don't have the frickin' transmute. Oh, we can use this. So we're going to find Isochron Scepter with this, and then 1, 2, 3. We'll use this to find Dramatic Reversal, and so we will plan to win the game here. No. 2, and we play out the Isochron. Try to imprint this, and if that goes through, then we just win. And the way that we would win is we would tap 1, 2 to tap the Isochron Scepter to put a copy of Dramatic Reversal on the stack, and assuming that that goes to plan, then it untaps all of our stuff. And then we do it again, tap 2, we float all this mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we untap it, so on and so forth. We make infinite mana, and once we've got our infinite mana, we can exile as many cards as we need to until we find a way to win the game. So we've got our tutor, we've got infinite mana, we turn this into a Codex Shredder. That's a 2 battlefield tutor. Okay, and then we start doing the Isochron Scepter Dramatic Reversal thing again, but tapping and untapping Codex Shredder. We mill everybody out of cards, and then we pass the turn. Good game. And these take a lot longer than the more proactive ones do. I think we should not keep this. We don't have any acceleration. This is probably fine. We've got some interaction. We've got a little bit of card draw, a little bit of ramp. So we'll draw for turn. Just land pass. And we'll go 1, 2. Usually we can get away with tapping out on turn 2 in these either high-powered or $100 budget pods. Tap this to play Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, that's this deck has a lot of, there's just a lot of very cheap hate pieces for graveyards. Graveyard decks are busted, but they're also kind of easy to hate out. So we're on turn 3. What are we looking to do here? We feel a need to hold up interaction. So we're just going to go, I mean, we could just run out our guy and see how fast we can get there. We'll draw a card, lose 2 life, pass the turn. Let's say we had to use a piece of interaction. We needed this, which this is only 1 mana bounce a thing because we have an artifact in play. And then next turn, okay, we've got the Codex Shredder. So let's go, well, we can't just take all day. 3, 4. Cast our commander, so now we've got 3 mana available. Probably just get this in play. Oh, we've got a construct too. So we have more mana than we thought. So let's back that up. Would that have made a difference? We'll say we pass the turn and we end up having to use our interaction. Maybe we hit somebody. Oh no, just got that guy out. Ethereum Sculptor. 1, 2. Cast this. Cast this for free. Tap it to cast this. Then we're going to cast Paradoxical Outcome. 1. Well, let's use this. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana to bounce as many artifacts as we want. We will float 1 extra mana, and I'm just going to show this by untapping this. But we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and so then we could cast this for free. Tap it to cast this because our Ethereum sculptor is still in play. So all these artifacts cost 1 less, so this is free. Tap the free one to play this one. Codec Shredder's free. Tap this to play this and draw a card. And 1, 2, 3. Run this out. Alright, so now we just need to find a way to get to one of our combo pieces. We've got our mana set up. We've got an engine. We can draw cards every. We'll get extra cards. Probably we'll draw every turn. We can crack this to draw a card. Midnight Clock. We can start pumping mana into. We've got Fact or Fiction. I'd say this is the point where if we've been able to stop the really aggressive turbo-y decks, we start to kind of take over the game. That Paradoxical Outcome is a good card to help kind of turn the corner. So I would feel pretty confident if we didn't have, I don't know, like as long as we're still in it, it seems like we're probably very much in it at this point. We've got interaction, we've got lots of card draw, our engines are running, and we've got one of our combo pieces. We just need to find a tutor. We've actually got access to 2 different combo pieces, so we just need any of our other combo pieces or a tutor to get to it. And we've got interaction and card draw. I feel like we're probably more or less there. Let's do one more. Well, that Paradoxical Outcome sure does want to stay in my hand, doesn't it? If we had one more land, I'd go ahead and keep this. If it were like a 6, I'd keep it. Got a little bit of interaction, a couple different combo pieces, but we have a little bit of ramp. I don't think this is quite good enough. Certainly not for a first 7. So let's go restart. Second 7. Soul Ring's usually a good sign. We've got a combo piece and a tutor for the other piece. We don't have interaction, so this could be a bit risky, but I don't think I'm going to be throwing back a turn 1 Soul Ring, turn 2 Urza kind of a start. So let's run this out. We're going to draw for turn. We are going to cast our Soul Ring. Hope to survive a turn. Then, you know, we've got some options. We can hold up for Fact or Fiction. We can run out our Pithing Needle if there's something we want to shut off. Or we could run out our Commander, but I think what we want to do is run out the Pithing Needle, call whatever the most dangerous thing in the command zone is or in play is. If we know somebody's playing, Kinnan, we can name Basalt, or I'll name Kinnan, or whatever, like lots of options. And then we would I think pass the turn and just kind of hope that it gets back to us without any bad things happening. It's only turn 2, so it seems pretty likely. Free interaction is good to see. I think that makes me feel pretty happy to just tap pretty low for Urza. And if we have to counter spell it, we can use Misdirection, and if like somebody tries to remove our piece, we can send it at their piece instead. So let's just say that doesn't happen, or let's say it does happen. So we'll bend that, we'll exile the Fact or Fiction, which hurts a little bit, and then we'll go to our next turn. So somewhere in the turn cycle we had to use a counter. Alright, then we go to turn 4, and we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, gets us there. Yep, so we'll use our 4 mana to cast Reshape. Reshape makes us sacrifice an artifact and then gives us an artifact directly into play with converted mana cost equal to the X. So we're going to go for Isochron Scepter. Oh, our construct. You know what? We're just a little bit shy. I thought we had the win. We actually don't have the win. Do we have the win? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we sack this. We sack this for the Isochron Scepter. Goes into play. Cancel. And shuffle. Alright, so this goes into play. When it comes into play, we're going to imprint this. 2. Put a copy of this on the stack. Then if it resolves, we untap all of our things, our non-land things. Alright, so then we've got 1, 2, 3. So we go float 3 mana. Use 2 of it here, which untaps everything, and we leave a blue in the mana pool. And we repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, giving us infinite mana. And then we just say exile cards until we come to. Okay, so here's getting closer. So we're exiling our entire deck, right? There we go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our infinite mana to cast Capsize and buy it back, targeting the untapped blue mana or the untapped white mana, whatever. We're going to get everybody's lands, bounce them all into their hands. We're going to keep going and bounce everybody's permanents into their hands. Once everybody has all their permanents in their hands and everybody has full grip with no lands, no anything in play, then we can windfall and just get rid of it all. But what we'd really want to do, we'd exile a bunch of stuff until we find this guy. We put this into play. Then we cast Windfall. So remember, everybody's got all their permanents in their hands. They have nothing in play, and now they have to discard all their things. And then when they draw back, probably they just give up. If not, we use the Capsize, and we bounce our Urza, and we recast it, bounce our Urza, and recast it, bounce our Urza, and recast it. We make an army of these tokens, so nobody has anything. We can sculpt a perfect hand, whatever we want. Is really, realistically, everybody would just scoop. But if not, we just get rid of everybody's stuff, and then we could pass the turn, and they're all going to have nothing in play. It comes back to us. We've got a perfectly sculpted hand, and we win on our turn with an infinite army. And what kind of lines we might be looking for. This would be a real good one. So we would just go land. We have this is like a perfect hand. So we would go land. We'd run this thing out. We could hold up our 1 mana interaction, and if we don't need it, we could put a charge counter on this right before our untap. And we go to we didn't draw for turn. We go to our next turn, and we would play land. We put that into play. As long as somebody's got a blue mana, we can wait a second. Next, one more turn. We'd probably just go ahead and run our dude out. We could still hold up a counter spell, kind of. We could. So there's 4 mana. We have 1 mana in here for our spell pierce if somebody tries to counter our guy. Put our little construct into play. And now we can tap this for our spell pierce, or we can go tap this without removing the charge counter. Tap this and put a spell skite into play to keep our little dude safe. So if somebody tries to kill Urza, we redirect it to spell skite. If somebody tries to win the game somehow, we have a spell pierce. And that's some Urza test hands. Until next time, guys. Word to your mothers. May the force be with you. So on and so forth. And namaste. my homies.